Hey guys, this is Ben Hollifield, and I would like to introduce you to Table Saw for Service Portal. Now, I know a lot of you guys use the original version of Table Saw that was built for the older jelly-based ServiceNow architecture. What you see here is a ground-up rebuild of Table Saw specific for Service Portal. We took everything we learned from the old version and made this one better, it's faster, more configurable, and we think you're going to like it a lot. Now, at its base, Table Saw is a tool to allow you to quickly and easily build highly custom, filterable data views for any data in your ServiceNow system. The one you see on the page right here is just a view of the knowledge base. This looks a little bit different than what you're accustomed to, and that's because I've created this one custom for my needs. Over here on the right, we just have a simple panel-based view of knowledge articles with some pagination here on the bottom, so we can cruise through those. And then over here on the left, we have the filters, which is a key feature of Table Saw. I've put together a curated list of filters that enables me to search through this however I like. I can look for a specific author, like Wayne Webb, look for specific categories if I like. I can also just do a simple text search. Say I want to search for Eclipse, I can do that and it'll pop up right now, nice and easily. Now this is the custom version, so everything you see here on the right hand side was coded by me in HTML to make this look just the way I want it to look. And that's for you advanced users who want to have total control over the way your data looks. You can get into the HTML, into the CSS, and really brand this the way you want. However, if you don't want to get that advanced, this also works great with the out-of-the-box Data Tables widget in Service Portal. You can see I've dropped a Table Saw filter right here on top of a data table, and now I can come in here and search that just the same way as I did over there, and the filters will propagate down to the list. So it makes this very quick, very easy to use, and give your users the data views that they need. Both of these data views were built in a period of about 15 to 20 minutes. So it's very quick, very easy, and I will show you guys how easy that is if you want to stick around for a little bit longer in the video. Thanks a lot. Alright, so I just finished telling you how easy it is to build these data views in Table Saw. So let's build one out and see. So here I am in the Service Portal Designer. Click plus, and I want to build a view just like we saw. I want to have a filter in the left-hand side and then a data view on the right. So let's do a 3 and 9 column layout. Over here, you'll see I have a YDS Table Saw custom receiver widget. I'm going to drag that to the right-hand side. And that's just kind of a helper widget I've given you guys to help you out when you're building out these custom data views. It handles some of the REST web services and handles the pagination for you. Then I also have filter emitters. I have two kinds, one styled for a header and one styled for a sidebar. In this case, we're going to use the one styled for a sidebar. So now it's here. Let's go ahead and click on the options for the custom receiver, and we can tell it which table I'm looking at. Just makes things a little bit simpler. Looking at KB knowledge, what fields do I want? Let's pull the author, the short description, text, published date, and sysid so we can do our link. And the results per page, let's just say 5. So I'll save that. And you'll notice from here we can't get to the options for the filter emitter from here. So let's go ahead and pop this out into a page. And then we'll see our data on the right, and we can control right click here to configure our Table Saw filter emitter sidebar options. Look at instance options. And this tells us to configure a filter emitter and then enter it here. If I click here now, I'll see this KB filter. That's the one we saw in the sample. I'm not going to use that one now, although it is available in the application as a point of reference for you. I want to configure a filter emitter, so I'll click here and go create a new one. So let's create a new filter emitter. And this emitter is the frame that holds all of your actual filters. This is the entire sidebar. So let's call this KB filter 2 and give it an identifier. And what the identifier is it's actually like a frequency on which this emitter will send out its queries. This enables receivers to listen to particular identifiers, to particular filter emitters. And so it can be specific about what it listens to. So it gives you a lot of flexibility when you have multiple receivers and multiple filter emitters on the same page. Just call it KB2. Let's save this. And then we'll see a related list pops up that is our filter sections. And this is where we start to build out the actual filters that we see, the things we can interact with. So one of the filters that I use the most is just a simple free text search. So I'm going to call it search. The type can be multiple things. This is going to be free text, but you'll see we have 14 different styles, and we're adding more styles all the time to give you a lot of different options. We have the order. That tells us which order it shows up in that filter sidebar. We can give it a default value if you like. But encoded query is what we really care about. This is where we tell Table Saw what this filter actually means. Whatever we type in this encoded query is what is going to be applied to the data whenever a user interacts with this filter. Now I could just type something in here, and as I get more advanced I may do that. But I'm going to use this query builder, which makes it a little bit easier. So here I can tell it what is the target table that I'm trying to filter down. In this case, it's knowledge. And then I can start to tell it what this filter means. So when someone types in the search box, I want to know if short description contains that input. And this squiggly bracket input is very important because when it sees this, Table Saw is going to replace this with the input that the user types in. So if short description contains input or the text contains input, I want to apply that query to my data. So I've built it here in the builder. Now I just click apply query and it pops it up here into the encoded query right where we want it. So let's save this, and now we have a filter. So let's go over here and we'll select KB filter 2 that we just built. Save. And now let's refresh this page, and we see our search box over here. And now we can actually start use this thing. And you'll see that when I search down, it actually is doing the filtering for me. This is great. So we're getting somewhere. Now let's go back and we can add a few more. So let's add the category checkboxes. That's pretty handy, so we can filter down by knowledge categories quick and easy. So we'll call it category. Let's call this checkboxes. We're going to have an order of 200. And now we can choose a source. So we can do related list, and with a related list, it means I can add discrete, very simple things. I could have 3 options: one for category equals Outlook, one for category equals BlackBerry, one for category equals network, for instance. But in this case, I don't want that to be static. If I add new categories to my knowledge base, I want it to automatically pick it up. So I'm going to do it by a script that goes out and rebuilds the category each time, the category list each time this filter is run. So if I add new categories, it's dynamic. I don't need to do anything. They'll automatically show up. And I've actually cheated a little bit because I have a code snippet ready to go. But essentially what this is doing is going out to our choice table, grabbing all the categories for the language of the logged in user, and then creating the queries for those. And I show you right how to do it here in the comments field, or in the comments on this script. So it's quick and easy. So now let's submit this. We can go back, refresh this, and now we'll see we have our search. And then we also have these things showing up that allow us to filter by categories. It's great. So now let's do one more just for fun. Let's say I want to do a search on author, for instance. So we'll choose author, and this is going to be a user choice. Let's do a user choice of multiple. And now this one is, again, an input, right? Because we're choosing the user from the input box. So let's get KV knowledge. Then we'll add a filter of author is so-and-so. Now we can't put input in here because the system just doesn't like that. So let's just type in something like system administrator, click apply query, and it gives us this. Author is the sysid. Now we know that's not what we want. It'll give us always author of system administrator no matter what we enter in that box. So here we can come up and we replace that with input to get what we need. However, also in this case, it's user choice of multiple. And what this ends up being is just a comma separated list of sysids for the individual authors. So equals isn't quite right. We actually want to change that to author is in the input. And so you can see that our query builder doesn't always give us the exact query we want. Every now and again we need to come up and actually edit this a little bit, but it's fairly easy to do. Make that order of 300, click submit, and come back to our service portal page again. And now we can actually click in and we can start searching for authors like Wayne Webb. We can add our system administrator, and they keep popping up, and it's working great. So this is just what we had in mind. Okay, because you guys are doing so well, I want to go in and show you a couple more of the advanced features of Table Saw. Now, one thing that I like to do is I like to be able to provide an end user with a link that will take them to a pre-filtered list of results, kind of do the filtering for them. And I can do that in Table Saw. So here if I go to the search, we'll see like before I can do default values. I could type in email here, and every time the filter rendered, it would have email in the search box. That's not so useful. I would rather have that driven from a URL parameter. And what I can do is I can use a keyword here of from parameter, colon, and then I can choose a parameter name. And I'm going to go with search term. That's easy to remember. And now anytime this filter loads, it'll look for a parameter called search term in the URL. If it finds it, it will pre-filter the search box based on that parameter. So now if I go in here and just add a parameter of search term equals Eclipse, there it is. You can see I've been testing this. Press enter. And now we see it's pre-filtered to Eclipse when it loads. And then from there I can go ahead and do whatever I want to do, but it saves myself a little bit of work there up front. And you'll find little tricks like that all over Table Saw. For instance, with author, I could come in here and do a default value if I want to show the things that I've written. I could do JavaScript, gs.getUserID, and that'll show the articles by the logged in user. So now if I go over here and reset this again, we still got search term eclipse, there that is, but then it also pre-filters author with me, the logged in user. So I'd encourage you to just read the annotations on all the forums as you build this stuff out, and you'll see lots of little tricks like that. All right, and for my final trick, I want to show you guys how to use this with the standard data tables view in the event that you don't want to build out a fully custom data view for yourself. So let's hop back over here to Page Designer. Let's start with a brand new page. And in this case, let's add some columns again. This time we'll just do 12 across all the way. And you'll see that we have this YDS Table Saw data table receiver over here. Now this is a slightly customized version of the standard data table widget that comes with Service Portal. We needed to add 3 or 4 lines of code to have it respond to the filter emitter. So let's add that. We'll go ahead and customize it. We'll do this against KB Knowledge again, just so we can use the same filters that we've been working with. So KB Knowledge, we'll add no filter. Let's pull short description, author, and published, let's say. And that should be fine. And we won't specify a filter emitter. Again, we can have this thing listen to very specific filter emitters. In this case, let's just let it listen to all of them. So we'll save that. There's that. And let's drag the header version of the filter emitter over on top of this guy. And now let's pop this out onto the page so we can update our emitter. There's that. Let's right click, instance options. And for this one, let's go back to the original one just because I had a few more filters. Click save. So now here we go. There's our filter emitter, the initial one. Before we saw it on the sidebar, now it's on the header. We'll see it does still work great. It does just what it's supposed to do. But sometimes you find that the headers don't look as good in some ways. Certain filters look better in headers, some in sidebars. So I'll just pop over here to where this filter is. This is the KB filter, and let's change it up a little bit. Let's say that we don't really need an order by anymore, because we can do that from the list view. Published after was kind of silly. Maybe we don't want the author either. Let's leave the author there. And then category, I find that checkboxes don't look great in headers, so let's just change that to a choice multiple. Now I can come back over. Let's view this again. And all right, that's pretty good. So now we can search by keyword search. We can search by our categories. We can also do our ratings. We want to see stars. Only want to see things that are like 3 stars or higher. No problem. Looks great up there. And again, what we do with these widgets is the code is all fully exposed to you, so you can come in and style this thing up to make it look as standoutish or as subtle as you like them to be. All of these widgets are currently configured to consume your brand colors from your service portal, but we do leave all that open to you, so you can go in and make it look however you like it to look. So that's Table Saw for Service Portal. We find this to be a huge time saver for us. Things that used to take days to build out now take minutes. And we can provide really custom data views for our custom applications or for our specific user bases very easily, very quickly. Big time saver, big money saver. We hope you find it the same. Thanks a lot. Bye.